Hey, what's going on? It's your girl Kandie, Kane in the building. Yes. So I just wanted to come to you guys really, really quick. Um, the Crafters Den with Coach Kane is in full effect. So if you guys are not on my Facebook page or my Instagram page, please make sure that you follow me over on Instagram at Coach Kane as well as Facebook at Coach Kane. Yo, Crafting with Candy group on um our Facebook page is like about to go haywire. I got so much free stuff that I got planned out for you guys. I got some classes. I got some a whole lot of stuff that I got planned for you guys, and it's just been put on my spirit that no matter where I am, start right where I am. You feel me? Like before, I was feeling like, I'm crafting, I'm doing all of this stuff, I'm getting all of this knowledge, and you know, I haven't been like posting any of my craft projects online. I haven't been showing you guys the techniques. It's almost like my girl Cassandra would say, I've been gatekeeping, and that's not what I've been trying to do. A couple of my folks that's like close to me, of course, I've showed them how to do certain things, teach them how to secure that bag. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about moving forward is we got to build. And my acronym for build is simple: believe in yourself, understand your past, initiate your future, level up, and dream big. You feel me? So, with the Crafters Den, that's what we're doing. We're building in the Crafters Den. It's all about building, believing in yourself, understanding your past, initiating your future, leveling up, and dreaming big. So with that being said, let me just go ahead and give y'all these little jewels I got for y'all. I like diamonds and pearls and carrying on. You feel me? So I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a couple of these little jewels I got laying around here. And the jewels that I want to give y'all today is for all of my beginning crafters, all of my folks that's starting off doing t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a couple of jewels on that. But before I do, I'm gonna just give you a little backstory. When I started crafting 8 years ago, I did not start crafting with t-shirts. I actually started crafting with drinkware and making multi-purpose trays and like wall art. I love doing like acrylic pours and stuff like that because I like to have like artwork up around the house, like in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the hallway. I like to, when I walk into a house, to see that house like come alive with color, like vibrant, So that's how I kind of pretty much started off. It wasn't until maybe, I want to say about 6 months into me crafting where one of my homeboys was like, yo, you got a heat press? And I was like, nah. He was like, well, why? You need to get the heat press because you got the Cricut. Get the heat press and then you can start making shirts. You come over here, I'll show you how to get these shirts done. So long story short, I ended up pulling up at the homeboy house late one night. He was making some shirts for his clothing line. And I sat down and I made a few shirts with him, helped him weed out some of the HTV. And from there, I was just like, wow, okay, I got this. Don't even worry about it. So since then, um, when I finally learned how to apply the vinyl to the t-shirts or whatever, then I was like, okay, let me teach my daughter. At that time, my daughter was like what, 3 years old, and but she was so just nosy. She wanted to know everything that I was doing. So I was pretty much teaching her as I was learning. So we ended up starting Poetic Apparel, which is our apparel company, and it is my daughter's company. She's 7 years old now. She makes shirts. She makes like little tote bags. She puts logos or decals on the kids' backpacks at school and stuff like that. So I got her, doing her little part. She do her thing, and thank you, Lord, because I sure appreciate that. Like it's like You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You understand? So she drinking. Thank you, Lord. She drinking. Yes, Lord. So we gonna get into this though. My top 5 t-shirt crafting tips. I'm gonna give them to you right now. And if you stay to the end, I'll give you a bonus tip. Like you can't miss this bonus tip. It's so simple, but it's a whole bonus tip. But before I get into it, make sure that you guys hit that like button, subscribe, comment, let me know how y'all feel. This is the first of many videos. Like I talk a whole lot, so don't get it twisted. It's always about being better tomorrow by starting today. What can we do today to be better tomorrow? Me, I craft. I'm in the crafters den. I'm a whole lioness. You feel me? I love to craft and I love to get my pride involved in what's going on. So my sweets out there in Candy Land, crafting with Kandie. Yes, make sure that y'all pull up on me. I got a free master class that's coming on the, let me see, I think I put it down for the 26th. So I got a free master's class that's coming the 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's going to be 3 days giving you all of the information that you need for beginning your t-shirt process. Like if you just now starting out with t-shirts, I'm gonna give you some jewels to help you get started. Where if you don't have a heat press and you need one, I'll show you how to get started without even having a heat press, because that's just something secondary. We can do other things, and I'm gonna show you a couple of tips on how we can make that happen and get you guys to at least starting to make your shirts and then starting to make that money. And once you make that money, honey, then you just go on Amazon. I'll give you the information on where I go to get my stuff on Amazon, and you can purchase you a heat press for about 150 bucks or something like that. It's not really that expensive, but it's so worth it. I swear to God, your first order, you'll make your money back. Don't even worry about it. It's just making sure that you reinvest that money into yourself and your business. So, giving y'all a little bit too much right now, but I'm gonna still just go ahead and give y'all these gems. Okay, y'all ready? I'm ready. Y'all ready? All right. So, tip number one of my top 5 tips. My tip number 1 for all of my beginning crafters, If you OG in this like me, if you've been out here, you've been doing this thing for years, you know what you're doing, this might not be for you. But for all my beginners, this is for you. Top 5. Number 1. Always, and I mean always, practice your design on an old t-shirt or piece of fabric before you place it on your final piece. Because the last thing that you want to do is put that piece, you gotta, first of all, you gotta make sure that the vinyl that you're using, that your heat press is set at the right temperature. If you're using one of the cricket heat presses, you got to make sure that you're putting the right amount of pressure and that the design won't move, that is right place where it needs to be. So what I do is I got like an old shirt. I keep like a couple of old shirts, and I'll just make a small one. I'll make a smaller grade what I'm trying to do, and then I'll weed it and I'll press it on there, and I'll see how the vinyl adheres, if I gotta turn up the heat on my heat press or whatnot. Always follow the you gotta make sure that you follow that first, because some vinyls will peel, some will lift up, and some will, it's just a whole lot that you got to go through when going through vinyl. But in our free master class, I will teach you about the different types of vinyl, the HTVs, the permanent vinyl, the wall cling vinyl. It's so many different types of vinyl that you can work with, and I actually started with permanent vinyl. So getting into HTV, it's a little different because they're a little more sensitive when you're weeding them, whereas the permanent is a little more sticky. So it's just techniques that you have to get used to when you're using it. So tip number 1, always do a test print. Do your test print first. Do your test practice on your design before you even put it on your shirt, because the last thing you want to do is waste a shirt, child. So always keep you an old shirt where you can, like put a small design on the sleeve, put 4 or 5 of them on the back. Just something where you can see that, okay, this is the right vinyl. We got it at the right temperature or whatnot. Tip number 2, make sure that you pre-press your shirts or any fabric that you're about to put a design on. Press them things out for about a few seconds or so, just to get the moisture and the wrinkles out, because you don't want to lay your design on a wrinkled up shirt, and you definitely don't want that moisture in the shirt, because it'll kick back and it won't allow the vinyl to adhere properly. Like the stickiness won't be there because it's wet up under there. So you definitely want to make sure that you pre-press your shirts. Every shirt that you do, don't just think, oh, well, this one look cool, I ain't got to do. Yes, do it for every shirt. Okay, every piece of fabric, always pre-press your fabric before you even put your design on it. You don't want to mess that part up. Telling you now, I've done it before. So, number 3. So we went over 1, which is always practice your design on the test piece of fabric. Number 2 is always pre-press your shirts to get the moisture and the wrinkles out before you actually put your design onto the shirt to press it onto the shirt. So, number 3, secure your vinyl design using some heat resistant tape. Like they got this like heat resistant tape that you can get online. You also gonna need like a heat glove, because that when you peeling off the carrier sheet, it do get really really hot, so you can't singe yourself, and you got to be careful because that heat press can get up to over 400 degrees. So you got to be really careful. And if you got kids, make sure you keep your kids out of your crafting area, especially if you have a heat press, because it is, it can tip over. Let's just say that your heat press can tip. It has tip ability. If you working with a Cricut one that's like this and you got small kids, they will knock it over. Just certain things you got to be aware of. So number 3, make sure that you got some heat resistant tape. Tape that thing down right there where you want it to be. So when you grab your heat press and you put it down on there, it's not gonna shift your design. It's gonna keep your design right there where it need to be. So heat resistant tape. Make sure that you use that heat resistant tape. Tip number 4, along with that heat resistant tape, you want to make sure that you use either a Teflon sheet or get you some parchment paper, some butcher paper, and put it over your design. So once you lay your shirt and then you put your center your design on your shirt where you want it to be, then you tape that thing down with a little bit of tape on the ends so that it won't shift when you pull that down and get the pressing. So when you pull it down and you lock it, so 15 seconds later, you pull it up, you got your thing. Your design is on your shirt. So what the Teflon sheet or the parchment paper does, is it puts a barrier in between your design and the heat. So you definitely don't want like direct contact. A direct contact can burn the vinyl. It can also burn the fabric. Certain things can happen if you're not careful and if you don't set your timer right. Like you got to have your timer set for the type of vinyl that you're using. So if you're using a puff vinyl or something like that, then you definitely want to make sure that your heat press is, I do believe it's supposed to be at 325. So you want to make sure that you cook that thing for 20 seconds at 325 to get that puff effect when you pull the carrier sheet off. So it's certain things that you got to do when you using that vinyl. You got to know what, for one, you got to know what kind of vinyl you using. Number 2, you got to know the thickness and the weight of that vinyl. Number 3, just know your brands. As you begin to craft more, you'll get to know about the Sizer brand, the StarCraft brand, Brilliant vinyl is excellent for getting vinyl and blanks if you sublimate. But right now we just talking about doing vinyl on shirts, starting from scratch, because everybody don't have a sublimation machine. Everybody has not converted their printers to sublimation, which is something that we'll talk about a little later. Tip number 5. Y'all ready for this? I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. Okay. This is most important because when you set up your heat press, a lot of the times people don't know that that little knob that's on your heat press is the pressure. You know what I'm saying? So you might let it down and it be all loose, like loose. That's because you need to tighten it up so that when you lock it down, it's gonna lock onto it. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to make sure that you check your pressure. So tip number 5 is to make sure that the heat press applies even pressure over the whole design. Okay? Because if it does not, and let's just say, you know, you got your heat press here and your design is here and your heat press is here, but this part of your design is not under the plate of the heat press, then this part is not going to stick correctly. You feel me? So you got to make sure when you lay it that you land that heat press directly over it, like center it as much as you can so that you don't leave, like it might be like a little curl or something on one of your letters and it might be way at the end. If you don't get that under that heat press and you don't press that down, when you start peeling it, that part is going to peel up. You're going to mess up your whole design. So I'm trying to tell you something before you even mess up any of your designs. Make sure that you check the pressure little knob on your heat press before you even start pressing to make sure that it's applying the right amount of pressure. So when you pull it down and you lock it down and you hit start, it's on the right amount of pressure. It's going to make sure that it get that vinyl into that fabric and it's going to make sure that it sticks. Yes. So now that we got that out the way, again, if you made it this far through this video with me, if you made it this far through this live with me, make sure that you subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. We trying to go up this year, baby, and I got so many jewels to give you guys. Oh my God, I love diamonds and pearls. So we gonna give y'all so many diamonds. We just gonna start a whole diamond collection because I like the bling, child. I do. I don't know. You know, it's just in me. I like to bling. So make sure that y'all follow us on our social media as well, on Instagram and Facebook under Coach Kane, the same handle. Once you get to our Coach Kane page on our Facebook page, you can then become a member of our group, Crafting with Kandie. I'm sorry, I'm all tongue-tied tonight. Crafting with Kandie on our Facebook group. I'll give you tips. I'll give you how-tos. We're going to promote our master's class that we have coming up shortly. But this free class is so jam-packed with jewels, baby. When I tell you, you're going to feel like a pirate coming up out of there, what I'm trying to tell you. So make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment to this video right here and share it with your friends, okay? Now I got all of that out the way. Let's go run it back real quick for you. Number 1. Always practice your design on a test piece of fabric or an old shirt before you place it on your final piece. Do that test print. You'll love me later for that. I'm telling you now. Number 2, make sure that you pre-press your shirts for a few seconds, just a little bit. You don't want to burn the fabric. Just a hot bit. Just 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the moisture and the wrinkles out. Once you get the moisture and the wrinkles out, number 3, you want to secure your design with heat-resistant tape. So you want to lay your design exactly where you want it on your piece of fabric, and then you want to just tear off a couple of little pieces of that heat-resistant tape, put it on the sides of it to lock it down. Once you put those on the side to lock it down, then you in the game. Number 4. Make sure that you use your Teflon sheet or your parchment paper. That is so important to keep direct contact from your design to the heat press, because the last thing you want is some melted vinyl or something on your heat press. Now you got to try to find something to scrape this off and you messing up the plates and carrying on. We don't want to do all that. Number 5, make sure that your heat press is applying the right amount of pressure. Make sure that your design is centered on to that heat press, because if it's centered onto the heat press and you got that little leg or that little L or that little cursive letter hanging off, then when you peel the carrier sheet back from the design, it's going to stick to the carrier sheet and that's going to mess everything up. Trust me when I tell y'all to mess up so much. So now that we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, let me give you this bonus tip. Common sense just ain't common no more. But I'm going to say it in a damn way. Always, and I mean always, peel your carrier sheet back carefully. Don't just rip that thing back like, oh, the vinyl going to be there, I'm going to just pull it on off. No, baby. Let me tell you, if you pull that carrier sheet off at the wrong time, your whole design is ruined. You got to start over. That whole shirt, you got to start over. You got to throw the shirt away, throw the whole shirt away, and start over. So, my bonus tip for y'all today, bonus, is always peel carefully. Follow the vinyl's manufacturer's instructions on whether to peel it, if it's a hot cold or a peel cold, or a cold peel. Did I say that right? I'm tongue twisted them up. Okay. Make sure that it's either a hot or cold peel, because if you peel it off while it's hot, then you take a chance to pull it off the transfer. So make sure that you follow the instructions, because it might be a cold peel. You might have to make sure that it cool down all the way before you pull it off. Some vinyls you can pull off while it's hot, but other vinyls you have to pull off when it's cold. So that's my final tip for today. Baby, I hope you got you some shirts. I hope you got you some vinyl. I hope you got you some creative ideas, because the next time I come here, we're going to try to put some of this stuff together with just the basic stuff that you got at the house. I'm going to bring a little something out, to see what we can press together. But until then, make sure that as you're getting your supplies together, as you're thinking about designs and whatnot, make sure you use your Canva website. Oh my God, Canva is like, man, I love Canva. Even though I use Adobe Photoshop too, I really do like Canva. I think Canva has all types of apps and just different stuff that you can use to make your own creations, to take what's up here and put it out here. You feel me? So make sure that you guys stay tuned. The Crafter's Den with Coach Kane. We coming up through here. We dropping off jewels. Like I said, I like diamonds and pearls. So make sure y'all drop me some diamonds down in the comments, because, yo, your girl love to bling. Yo, it's been a fun one. This is my first live for Crafter's Den with Coach Kane. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure that you keep those tips in mind when starting your t-shirt crafting business, because the t-shirt crafting is simple when you know the techniques and the tools. So stay tuned. In our next part 2 of this, I'll give you my top 10 techniques to use when crafting t-shirts. Thank y'all. It's been lovely. Until next time, my sweets. Au revoir.